number of COVID-19 cases continues to rise globally and right here in Guyana. Therefore, we encourage everyone to practice social distancing, wear a mask if you have to leave your home, and wash your hands thoroughly and frequently as we strive to stop the spread of the virus. Welcome to InfoHub for Wednesday, April 22. Thanks for joining us. First up, the Department of Public Service says, contrary to what is being reported in some sections of the media, the majority of Guyanese studying in Cuba have indicated their willingness to remain there and continue their studies. Prominent Secretary of the Department, Grogan, shed some light on the situation.
According to P.S. Grogan, based on feedback from the Student Affairs Officer in Cuba, majority of the Guyanese students plan to remain there and welcomed the support by the government. The Permanent Secretary dismissed erroneous information being peddled in some sections of the media, claiming that Guyanese students want to return home from Cuba.
In terms of the COVID-19 pandemic, 80% of the students would prefer to remain in Cuba and have the hampers that the government has decided to send to the students instead of coming home. This is primarily the case of the sixth-year medical students and the postgraduate students. They are not very happy or very keen on leaving their studies at this juncture to come home with an indefinite period, not knowing when and if they will ever be able to complete their program. As we speak, schools are not physically open, but they are doing a lot of work online. They are being provided with a lot of materials from the university so they can be studying in their rooms.
P.S. Grogan noted that a number of students have expressed their dissatisfaction with these articles.
They are not very happy with the issuing of the letter, the publishing of the letter in the newspapers. Some of them even said that it was not very fair for the students to publish something like that in the newspapers instead of getting advice from the Department of Public Service and the Guyana Embassy.
Meantime, Minister of Public Service, the Honorable Tabitha Sarabu Hali, said those articles does not accurately describe the sentiments of a majority of the students. She said her department believes that some mischief is afoot, since the articles give the impression that the government is not interested in the well-being of Guyanese studying abroad.
When the COVID-19 virus started in China, we decided on and maintained a certain line of action, despite disagreements from many. But to date, the students who remained are pleased now that they did not leave, as China is opening up and school will recommence shortly. It was recognized that other forms of assistance would be required at this time, and we are working to send hampers to all 77 students, both fully funded and self-funded, who are currently in Cuba.
The minister reassured that the coalition government will continue to seek updates from the Student Affairs Office in Cuba as it relates to the students' well-being. For InfoHub, I am Kellon Rover.
In the education sector, with over 8,000 learning packages distributed to regions 1, 7, 8, and 9, hinterland students are not left out of the learning process as schools remain closed due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Leticia Isaacs has the details.
Technical officers of the Education Ministry's Crisis Management Team told the DPI that 8,400 workbooks were distributed to grades 2, 4, and 6 students in regions 1, 7, 8, and 9 who do not have internet access. The workbooks cover the 4 core areas: mathematics, science, social studies, and English. Technical Officer Marcia Paddy Andrews explained that hinterland teachers are also receiving guidance on how to assess the homeschooled students.
Because we have now extended the period of closure, we are looking at providing worksheets and model lessons to radio for those areas that are for those areas in the hinterland that are receiving internet access.
Acknowledging that there is not full internet coverage countrywide, the ministry is nevertheless encouraging the continued use of popular online platforms like Moodle, Zoom, Edmodo, and Google Classroom in areas where there is connectivity. The measures are a part of the ministry's efforts to continue bridging the gap between hinterland and coastal education.
In Region 7, we have a radio broadcast that is providing guidance for the teachers in terms of um, marking the students' work and giving support to those students.
Over 175 hinterland communities have received internet access over the last few years, and this is expected to prove beneficial during this time. Moving forward, some teachers will be provided with free access to online learning platforms that usually attract a cost to reach more students. Natisha Isaacs for InfoHub.
Guyana and Suriname have signed on to an agreement which will ensure that businesses operated by riverine communities are not negatively impacted by the closure of the borders. Here are the details.
According to a joint statement issued while both sides of the Guyana-Suriname border remain closed, both governments have agreed to immediately implement measures to ensure that riverine communities are able to commute and conduct their businesses to and from points within their respective countries. This will be done on the proper surveillance, according to the release, in order to ensure that the protocols to combat the spread of the novel coronavirus are not compromised. Quote, the two sides emphasized that the agreement put in place will respect the fact that their respective borders remain closed and that their nationals must not endeavor to enter into the territory of the other, the statement advised. Further, a mechanism has been established for information sharing between the relevant institutions and agencies of the two countries. According to the joint statement, it is to allow for the conduct of legitimate movements on the Currentine River and to prevent illegal activities, including the movements of persons and goods between the two countries. Additionally, both Guyana and Suriname have underscored the importance of operating in a spirit of cooperation and strong solidarity in an effort to fight the COVID-19 pandemic. In this regard, they have also agreed to establish a mechanism for information sharing between their health personnel after highlighting successes and challenges both faced in managing the disease on the medical front. Felicia Valenzuela, InfoHub.
More news after this short break. Stay with us. Welcome back. The harsh effects of the COVID-19 pandemic have impacted some businesses. However, others are thriving with new business opportunities. Today, we look at face masks, which have now become a necessity.
I'm teaching online full-time, right, and that's quite demanding. It's more work than if you're actually in the classroom. But in between and in the evenings, I do art. Right now, art consists of making masks.
That was professional artist and English teacher Luann Jackson. She told InfoHub after pondering about the current state of affairs in the world, she wondered what she could do to aid in the fight against the COVID-19 pandemic here in Guyana. And after hearing the recommendation that persons should in fact wear face masks when going out, she realized what she could offer.
I started making a couple and I posted them on Facebook, and that was it. The orders started coming in and I had to question, do I have the capacity to do this?
Luckily, Jackson knew someone always on standby who would help with sewing, and the opportunity, though born out of unfortunate circumstances, was perfect.
She too, her business is in kind of a decline because of the current state of affairs. So she had a lot of time. My friend who made the first mask, she sat and she said, you know what, I'm thinking of how to make some money. I said, well, we will make masks.
In spite of the cost of material and detailed workmanship, Jackson says the masks are being sold at a reasonable price. They come in sizes for both children to adults and have been made specially to guard against the coronavirus.
The masks are 4 layers of fabric. I did some research on the virus and I spoke to a scientist friend of mine, and the virus clings to the fabric, so I figured if I use 4 layers, It has a lot more to find its way through. As somebody who studied textile art, I know that if you cut the fabric on the cross, it will change the whole course of anything that is trying to get through the fabric.
For more information on Jackson and her specially made mask, you can find her on Facebook, facebook.com/luan.lewisjackson. Felicia Valenzuela, InfoHub.
The Guyana Post Office Corporation has announced that the payment of old age pensions will commence on April 29, 2020 at 7 a.m. at all post offices countrywide. The GPOC disclosed that it has implemented a new process which will only be used during the first 5 payment days of the month in regions 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 10. Surnames beginning with the letters A to E will be paid on Thursday, April 29. Surnames F to J will have payments made on Friday, April 30. Surnames K to O is set for payments on Monday, May 4. P to T will be paid on Wednesday, May 6. And finally, U to Z will receive their payments on May 7, 2020. It was highlighted that seniors can cash their coupon any day after the 5th payment date. GPOC says the new measures effectively safeguard and ensures that elderly persons can collect their pension payments during the COVID-19 pandemic. Diet plays an important role in our daily lives, even more so during this time. Let's take a look at this video by the Public Health Ministry.
We can reduce the risk of contracting viruses by strengthening our immune system, and one way of doing this is by eating as healthily as possible to support optimal immune function. Micronutrients essential to fight infection include vitamins A, B, C, D, and E, and the minerals iron, selenium, and zinc. Here's what we need to know about the foods we can eat to get them. Vitamin A is found in fish, egg yolks, cheese, nuts, seeds, whole grains, and beans. Vitamin B9 folate is abundant in green leafy vegetables, beans, nuts, and seeds, and it's also added to a lot of the flour that we use in Guyana. Vitamin B12 is found in animal products, including eggs, meat, and dairy, and also in some fortified milk. Vitamin C and vitamin E helps to protect our body when we're fighting an infection. Good sources of vitamin C include oranges, lemons, limes, tomatoes, and cherries. In Guyana, one of our cherry has the amount of vitamin C needed for the entire day for a person. Vitamin E is found in nuts, green leafy vegetables, and vegetable oils. Although sun exposure allows the body to produce vitamin D, food sources including eggs, fish, and some milk and margarine brands may be fortified with vitamin D, meaning some extra has been added. Most people need just a few minutes outdoors most days to get enough of the vitamin D needed. And beyond diet, there are other measures you can take to stay as healthy as possible. No smoking, reduce the intake of alcohol or none at all, exercise every day, and sleep and rest well. And please remember to reduce your intake of sweetened and carbonated beverages and drink lots and lots of water.
Remember to do your part to ensure that you do not put yourself at risk during this time. If you have a cough, fever, or difficulty breathing, seek medical care early. But remember to call that hotline first. That's all for today. Connect with us on our social media platforms, including WhatsApp, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram, as we bring you the latest and important news related to COVID-19 and much more. Also, you can subscribe to our website, dpi.gov.gy. Your Bridge Report is up next. Stay safe. Goodbye for now.